Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Osman Khali, and in today's lecture, we are going to start from the very basic of the database. First of all, the language is necessary to be understood by all of those who want to make their career in the Oracle database, which may be administration track or developer track. Whatever the track anyone choose, she should know about the SQL structure query language. As we know that as a human being, we communicate with each other using verbal language like English, Urdu, Arabic. If someone wants to communicate with the database, so obviously she will need to communicate with the help of a language. So that language for the databases is called SQL or structured query language. SQL is nothing, it's a language, communication language through which human beings interact with the databases. So hopefully you will have understood that what is SQL. It is a language through which we communicate with the databases or the relational databases. Let's imagine a scenario. If someone is standing in front of you and you communicate with him or her, the medium between you and the second person is air. Now, similarly, when we communicate with databases, so we will use SQL language. It's quite obvious, and I have already told you, but what medium, through which medium you will do communication means that what sort of thing, what sort of software you will use to give the commands, to give the SQL language to be accepted by, to be interpreted by RDBMS. So there are many interfaces through which we can give the input to the databases, but some of them, some of famous interfaces are softwares are SQL Plus, which is the native for Oracle databases. SQL Plus, and it is purely command line, means there is no graphical intervention. You will have to give the command, the BMS will interpret, will work on it, and will give you the output. Now, the second one is Todd. It is a third-party software. It is not the native. It means that it is not owned by the Oracle Corporation. Instead, it is a third-party software which can be used for communication with the Oracle databases. The third one is SQL Developer. So SQL Developer can also be used. Now the difference between them is SQL Plus is command line, pure command line interface. Toad and SQL Developers are somehow graphical, not completely graphical, but somehow graphical. It might be you will have question that why it is called structure query language. Let me to clear it as well. It is called structure query language. What is the reason behind this? Actually, if you have worked with SQL, so it is very similar to English language. For example, I am writing. I have just written this very simple query: select name from EMP. Now, any person worldwide, if he understand, if she understand the English language, she will tell you, although she will not be related to databases or SQL, but when they read this query, they will tell you that it will select a name from something. Actually, this is a table. ये एक टेबल है सी, लेकिन अगर ये कोई बंदा हो कि वो एसक्यूएल को जानता भी नहीं हो, सही है, एसक्यूएल को जानता भी नहीं हो, दूर दूर तक उसका कोई वास्ता नहीं हो डेटाबेस से, लेकिन फिर भी अगर वो ये पढ़ेगा ये क्वेरी, तो वो आपको कहे कि कोई ऐसी चीज़ है जो हमें नेम जो है वो सेलेक्ट करके देगी, यानी ये क्वेरी। तो ये असल में स्ट्रक्चर हुई है, तैयार हुई है इंग्लिश में ये इंग्लिश के साथ रिजेम्बलेंस बहुत ज़्यादा रखती है। दैट्स वाई द नेम SQL structure query language has been given to this language. So it is the reason behind the naming of this language. Now in SQL we interact with the databases. right? So in databases, what we do, we will create table, we will modify the tables, we will drop the tables, we will insert the data into a tables, we will update the data, we will delete the data, so on and so forth. So the based on the actions, SQL is divided into mainly 5 types of categories. The first one is DDL. DDL stands for data definition language. And what sort of commands comes under this category are create, alter, drop, truncate. Now, you will call it you will call this category DDL. For create, we can create the objects. Alter, we can modify. We can alter. We can change the structure of the tables, or sorry, not only table but objects. Drop, by using drop, we can drop the objects. Truncate, it's also DDL. We will dig deeper in the coming videos, inshallah. The second category is DML, data manipulation language. It has nothing to do with the structure of the objects or the structure of the databases. DML just work on data. For example, I'm inserting data into a table. I'm updating data into a table. I'm deleting the data from the table. And the next one, you will be confused with this, so I'm not going to discuss this at this moment. So DML has to do work with the data only. It does not do anything with the structure. The next one is DQL language. Now, DQL stands for data query language. Data query language. So it contains just select. The next thing is TCL, transaction control language, commit or rollback. For example, you have entered some data, you inserted some data into a table, and you want to persist the data into the hard disk, you will issue the commit. But if you insert the data into a table and after some time you change your mind that I don't need this data, so you can issue the rollback, so the transaction will be rollbacked. Now the next one is DCL, data control language, grant and revoke. It's concerned about the privileges, which will come in the next lecture, inshallah, hopefully. Now there are some examples of DDL. For example, I have created this table, so I will create it obviously with the help of DDL, because it's a structure, it's an object, so I will create it with the help of DDL, data definition language, create. I will create this table with the help of create command. It's obvious. Now if I want to change the data type, for example, the data type of ID is number. Now if I want to change the data type of a number, I will change the data type of a number with the help of DDL command, which will be alter command. Now it's a bit difficult for me to write the alter or anything. Now if I want to add a column to this one table, I will use the alter table command. If I want to drop a column from this table, for example, I am dropping this column higher there, so I will use the DDL command. Why DDL? Because DDL, data definition language, it makes changes to the structure of the database. It has nothing to do with the data. I hope it will be clear to you. Next one thing is, sorry. Now the next one thing is that whenever I have created a table, for example, I am referring to a table because it's easy for me, but it's not just about the table. There are other objects as well, which we will discuss later in the next lectures. But as we have done with the DDL, now if I want to insert a record in this table, so this will be done through DML, because I'm inserting the data, I'm working on the data, so it will be done through DML. And in DML I will use which sort of command? Insert command. I will use insert command. Now if I want to for example, I have entered the address, this one, incorrectly, so definitely I'm not going to delete this record and insert it again. No, I will use the DML command, update. I will use the update command. For example, I don't want this record to be persist in the database, so I will use delete command to delete this record. So it will be done through DML commands. So I hope the difference between the DDL and DML has cleared to you. The most common are integer data type, but in Oracle databases we don't use integer. Instead we use number data type. Number and integer both are same, but in Oracle we use the term number. For integer data types, varchar2 is used for strings in Oracle databases. Character is similar, date, loops, etc. There are main differences in char, varchar2, which we will discuss in later videos, but just to bring these data types in front of you, I just made this one slide for you people. Now it's also important to discuss about the functions, that what sort of functions we have in Oracle. In Oracle, we have two types of functions: single row function and aggregate function. Now a little bit to give you the overview about the types of functions. So single row functions work on each record in a table. Now, if I apply the single row function, then this function will work on each and every row and will return the result for each and every row. Now, in other words, if there are 3 records and I apply single row function, then in the result I will get 3 records. Got it? Okay, right. So the next one is aggregate function. Aggregate function is the type of function in Oracle which works on the combination of records. For example, I have 4 records, so it is possible that it will return a single result for all of these 4 rows. It is also possible that it returns 2 results for these 4 records. It means that aggregate functions work on more than one rows. Objects in databases. Now hopefully you will know that what is object, but for the sake of convenience I will tell you anything which takes space is called or are called objects. For example, table acquires or occupies space in database, so it is object. Similarly, view, there are some types of view which don't acquire and some types of view which acquire, but we have kept in object. Sequence, synonyms, indexes, clusters. If you don't know about the view, sequence, synonym, index, cluster, etc., don't worry, I will explain them in the coming videos. Now you have got the knowledge about the objects. Now in Oracle we have 2 types of objects: schema objects and non-schema objects. I think it's a little bit high level topic, so we just understand that schema objects are those which are inside the user or schema, and the non-schema objects are those objects which are not inside the schema, which don't belong to the schema or user. It's just the table of contents for our upcoming lecture, that what will we do.